Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to build some spacers to install a set of secondary axle seals on a 9-inch Ford rear end. Let's go!
Okay, so what we're looking at is the way these bearings are supposed to seal the axle housing. So there's this O-ring here, and that's supposed to fit into the flange on the axle, and that's supposed to prevent all the oil that's in the axle from leaking out and getting all over your brakes and making a big mess. So we don't want that to happen. So what I've done is I've designed a different additional seal using these SKF seals that's going to slide here onto the bearing shaft, or onto the axle shaft, just behind the bearing retainer. So this is where the O-ring is going to go, right here. This is where the O-ring is going to go. This will slide into the flange of the axle, and then the oil will hit this seal first, and it'll stop it from even getting to the O-ring is the goal. So I'll show you how that fits in the car. Okay, so that is the axle flange itself, and the bearing retainer, or the bearing with the O-ring on it, fits right in here. And then I'm going to make a spacer out of aluminum that'll fit inside this flange, and that's kind of tough to shoot, so bear with me, but it'll fit inside of here, and that's where the seal will go. Unfortunately, you can't buy a seal that fits the axle and this diameter, so I have to manufacture my own. So now we'll go over to the lathe and have a look at that. Okay, we're going to make a spacer for a seal that is going to help keep the oil in the axle. And I just wanted to show you, this is a 3-inch piece of aluminum, just 6061. This is the way a typical horizontal saw, hacksaw's continuous blade, that's the kind of results you get. It's square, it's not very smooth. I prefer to use, I have a Evolution metal cutting chop saw with a big circular blade, and you can see the results from that. It's much smoother, very fine cut, and I really like that Evolution saw for that purpose. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that if you're in the market for a saw and you need to cut big stock like this, you don't necessarily have to buy the big powered hacksaw. These Evolution chop saws are really good. So we're gonna get this thing stuck in the vise here in the chuck here and see what we can do. We've got to turn inner and outer diameters. So the seal that is going to fit inside here is going to fit against a sort of a backstop inside. There will be a stop for it so it doesn't go all the way through. So I'm going to machine the minor diameter first. That's going to be about 2.2 inches, 2 1/4, something like that. And then I have to machine the major diameter, which is the OD of the seal that's going to go in it. So this is the seal here, and so this dimension is 2.5 inches. So this is going to go in here like that. It's going to actually sit back in here someplace about 1 inch when we get all said and done. So we've got a lot of whittling to do to get all that aluminum and turn it into that. So let's get to it. Okay, nice and secure in the jaw, and I just like to give a quick check for squareness. I can kind of do it by eyeball, just look at the edge here. I think we're going to be square and true in the 3-jaw here, but let's just have a quick look. Yeah, this surface is nice and square and flat, not moving too much. Obviously this isn't perfectly straight, but we're going to face that off, so no big deal. Okay, so let's put our facing tool in the tool post and face that off. As Quinn would say, as is tradition. For those of you who are interested, the lathe is from Precision Matthews. It's made in Taiwan, and I really like it. It's been quite good. Didn't require a lot of truing and squaring up when I got it. It was pretty good. It was within a few thousandths, and now it's within a few tenths. I'm really happy with it. This is a PM 1340 GT, and if you're in the market for any kind of machine tools, highly recommend the folks over at Precision Matthews, hashtag not sponsored, but they're good folks. They treat you right, and they look after you with good after sales service and tech support and stuff like that. So Precision Matthews is one of my trusted companies. Okay, so now what we have to do is drill a bunch of holes in here, progressively larger diameters, until we get to one to get a hole size that's big enough that I can insert this boring bar in and keep making it bigger and bigger. So that's the next step, is we're just going to drill some holes. And to do that, we're going to bring in the tailstock and some drill bits. Okay, we've got our first bit loaded. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna just put a little spot drill on there. Just give myself a fighting chance to get that nice and dead centered. Okay. the bottom of the hole, folks. That one worked better. Not great, but better. I think it may be time that we invest in some new large drill bits. However, we did make cool chips. And who among us doesn't like cool lathe chips? So let's just clean this out a little bit. Sorry about that if I got you. And okay, we're going to move the tailstock back. And we're going to go to our boring bar. All right, we got a fair bit to go here. So we're just going to kind of whittle away at this a little bit at a time, and time to bring the DRO into the picture. And I'm going to use the DRO both to decide the diameters of the cut as well as the depth, because there's no need to go in any deeper than we really need to. Okay, we're getting close on our minor diameter here, and we got maybe this pass and one more sort of spring pass just to kind of clean it up, and then we can work on the major diameter that the seal is going to fit into. We're shooting for about 2.2. And we are at exactly 2.213. Close enough for rock and roll. So that is our minor diameter. And then so now what we have to do is go in 1 inch and come make this diameter 2.5 inches so that our seal will go in there. And then once we do that, then we have to turn down this diameter so that it fits into the axle. So we've got some turning left to do, but we're sneaking up on it. So here we go. We are basically going to just do our major diameter now. And first couple of swings at this will take some pretty good cuts. schmoo out of there. And see where we are.
I'm shooting for about 1 thou under 2,500, so the seal will be a press fit in the adapter. And then the same idea I'll use when I turn the OD down, so it'll be a 1 to 2 thou interference fit in the axle. And to make things easier to install, what I'll do is I'll warm up the spacer a little bit when I install the seals, and they'll just drop right in. And then I'll put the whole assembly in the freezer for a few hours and allow it to shrink down a bit, and then it'll be a really easy installation in the axle. And hopefully all our oil sealing issues will be solved. So that's it for this video. I'm going to do a second part where we'll turn the OD of this thing and we'll get it fit inside the axle with a seal in it. So make sure you come back, and thank you for watching. Please comment below and subscribe and like and all that good stuff. It helps us out a lot and I appreciate it. We'll see you next time.